And we are live. You already know who it is. My name is Mike Kyle, aka the Fantasy Vulture. I have over a decade worth of fantasy football experience, and I've continuously competed for fantasy championships over the course of the past 6 seasons. Let's make it 7 in 2020. But enough of me. I'm here for you. On today's episode of the FB Show, we're going to continue our Week 2 game recaps, breaking down every single Week 2 game, all through the lens of fantasy football. Up next, we're going to be talking about the game of the week had it not been for the Sunday night contest, and that is the Atlanta Falcons versus the Dallas Cowboys. So if you are excited for this game recap, be sure to hit that like button down below like an open receiver downfield, and also smash that subscribe button like a power running back up the middle so that you never miss a video from me. Last but not least, you can follow me on all social media platforms at FFVulture. The interactions I've been having on all social platforms have been so much fun. I loved answering the start-sit questions on Twitter, lineup changes, waiver wire ads, and trade offers. I think trade offers have been really fun for me. More exciting than I really thought they would be. If you guys are new around here, you guys are about to find out how we do highlights. But if you are subscribed, you guys already know. So let's just dive right in, shall we? The Atlanta Falcons taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. First quarter, 11 minutes on the clock. Matt Ryan, play action pass, and who's he going to find downfield? Calvin Ridley, who dives his way into the end zone as he's falling out of bounds, hits the pylon. It's 7-0 Falcons. Later on in the first, Hayden Hurst wide open downfield for a 42-yard touchdown. I told you guys last week not to panic about Hayden Hurst, and he came through for you in week 2. Moving on to the second quarter, Zeke, goal line, buckets. You guys know how this works by now. Elliot falls his way into the end zone, and it is 20-7 Cowboys. 27 Falcons. Later on in the second quarter, Calvin Ridley, TD number 2. Ridley balled out again for the second straight week. It looks like the takeover is coming. Then later on in the third, Dak Prescott, 1-yard rushing touchdown, calls his own number, the first of many. And later, Ceedee Lamb, the rookie, over the middle for a 38-yard gain. I had Ceedee as one of my smash plays of the week. He came through for you big time. But talk about big time. Amari Cooper with the one-handed grab, a 58-yard reception in the third. Later on that same drive, Dak calls his number for the second time and gets another rushing touchdown. If you had Zeke, this was tough to watch, seeing Dak get in at the goal line 2 times. But wait, we aren't done yet, are we? With this game, suddenly, the Cowboys are roaring back. You guys saw the score earlier. And the Falcons are going to add to their lead here again to start the fourth quarter. Gage, an 8-yard touchdown from Matt Ryan. The Falcons are just absolutely pouring it on. It's 39-24. The Cowboys, they aren't dead yet. They sniffed the comeback with Dalton Schultz, a 10-yard touchdown. And all of a sudden, the Cowboys are just chomping at this lead. It's now 30-39. And for the third time in this game, Dak Prescott calls his own number and gets into the end zone. Zeke, not vultured, not once, not twice, but 3 times by his quarterback. And in the fourth, Greg the Leg, a 46-yard field goal to win it as time expires. The Cowboys come all the way back to beat the Atlanta Falcons 40-39. What a game this was. Like I said, everybody in this game should have been started. It was my favorite game preview to record because there was no advice. There was no debating, or there was no discussions over guys you should start or sit. It was literally play everybody. And everybody, for the most part, came through for you. So let's go over the box score real quick for this game. Matt Ryan, what else is there to say here, you know? 24 completions on 36 attempts, 273 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley, 10 targets, 7 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Russell Gage, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 46 yards, and a score. Hayden Hurst, 5 receptions, 8 targets, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Todd Gurley had 21 carries, unfortunately only had 61 yards. A very lackluster performance from him, but I was very encouraged seeing that he got 21 carries in this game. He just unfortunately didn't do anything with them. Julio Jones, we also talk about him. He disappeared this game somehow. 2 receptions, 4 targets for 24 yards. Julio, what the fuck happened, man? Like that's the thing. I think what makes this so frustrating, specifically for Gurley and for Julio, is that everybody else produced how they were expected to. Right, Ridley balled out. Russell Gage played well again for the second straight week. We knew Hayden Hurst was going to have a bounce back week after the disappointing week 1. And Gurley had the opportunity, like I said, didn't do anything with it. And Julio Jones just disappeared on you for some improbable reason. Moving over to the Dallas Cowboys, Dak motherfucking Prescott. 47 attempts, 34 completions, 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them being rushing touchdowns. And then we move over to Zeke, 22 carries, 89 yards, 6 for 7 receptions, 33 yards in the air, and 1 touchdown. You would have loved to see Zeke get in a second time, but hey, you'll take 17 points from Zeke in half-point formats. CeeDee Lamb, my guy, my breakout player of the week, my smash play. 6 receptions, 9 targets, 106 yards. It wasn't the big smash performance that I was expecting, but hey, 14.5 points in PPR, and half-point PPR is nothing to be ashamed of. Dalton Schultz, this is a big thing here. You know, we were all expecting the Blake Jarwin breakout, and unfortunately, Jarwin did suffer that ACL injury. So was Dalton Schultz going to be able to replicate what Blake Jarwin was expected to do? And the answer is yes, because Dalton Schultz had 10 targets, 9 receptions for 88 yards, and a touchdown. I think, if I remember correctly, the only other players to have a stat line like that, it's like Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson in like their first handful of games. Let me pull this up just to be sure here. I want to say somebody tweeted that, and I want to find the stat real quick. But as I'm pulling, there we go. All right, so this is Matthew Berry tweeted this. He tweeted this yesterday. Dalton Schultz, available in 99% of ESPN leagues, has joined Dallas Goedert as the only tight end since 2014 under the age of 25 to have a 981 and 1 game. Add another young tight end breakout to the list. And I agree. We'll talk about Schultz in just a second. But I also want to talk about Amari Cooper, who played really well, too. 6 for 9. And I'm sorry, yes. Whenever I say 6 for 9, that typically just means 6 receptions, 9 targets. I need to find a better way to word that so it doesn't sound like he had 6 catches for 9 yards. So 9 targets, 6 receptions, and 100 yards. You were happy with what Cooper did for you. And Michael Gallup was another player who kind of disappeared. However, Gallup played better than Julio, which is not something I would expect going into this game. Gallup had 2 catches for 58 yards. All right, let's switch back to full screen now real quick. All right, let's talk. Again, there's not really a whole lot to add here. There were no injuries to report, which is nice because this was one of the games that went injury scathed free. It looks like that Dallas got their injuries out of the way in week 1. So the big storyline here is, I think, Russell Gage, right? There was some buzz around Russell Gage heading into this season. Just looking at his usage towards the second half of the 2019 season, once Austin Hooper went down, and then once Mo Sanu was traded, Russell Gage really did step up, and he kind of asserted himself into this offense, and you saw the breadcrumbs kind of just leaving this trail of, hey, Russell Gage is probably going to be involved, and he is. I believe he has 20 targets through 2 games now. He's seeing more snaps than Julio as it currently stands, and obviously it's just a 2-game sample size, and that's probably going to correct. But it really is just important to note, Russell Gage needs to be rostered in every single league, not only for the fact that he's playing well right now, but again, he is on this high-powered offense whose defense is not good. And if they want to compete, they're going to have to score points. And Russell Gage is a major part in this offense as it seems moving forward. Hayden Hurst, again, I've been saying this all offseason long. He's going to be getting targets, and he's going to be just out there on the field. And that's one of the things that you really want for a young tight end who can break out. And Russell Gage and Hayden Hurst are just very similar in that way, where you're just looking for guys who are going to see the opportunity where they are on the field and they are just in high-powered offenses. I was getting a lot of Hayden Hurst questions after week 1, like what do I do with Hurst? And my response for every single one of them was you stay with Hayden Hurst. Like, trust me, he ran the most routes at the tight end position in week 1. He was going to be on the field, and he corrected course here in week 2 versus the Cowboys. So as somebody who's been banging the drum for Hayden Hurst all offseason long, I have him in a league. I want to get him in another. It was really great to see him play well in this game. It was something I was fully expecting, and since that happened, I don't know what would have happened if Hayden Hurst would have played poorly again today. I'm sorry, again on Sunday. Is there anything else here? Todd Gurley, like, I'm not going to hit the panic button on Todd Gurley just yet. Like, 21 carry, like, that's what I'm talking about. This is the reason why I love Gurley so much, was because he was going to get the opportunity. And again, this Atlanta Falcons offense is the engine that drives their team. So as long as he is getting that kind of work, I don't know how you try and move him. I don't know why you would even consider benching him. I think everything's going to sort itself out. I just think if this was a case where he just didn't fall into the end zone, had he gone into the end zone, he would have had 61 and a score that puts his day at 12 points, and you're okay with that. I'm not worried about Brian Hill or Ito Smith. Is there anything else? Do I want to talk? I don't know what to make of Julio right now, and I actually want to pull up the stat here. Let's pull this up just so I make sure that I get it right. There we go. All right, so I got a few of them here. No, where'd it go? All right, let's see. Oh wait, I have to go to latest, don't I? No, it still ain't there. All right, that's weird. Basically, Julio Jones, of the three main wide receivers in Atlanta, Julio Jones is third in targets and third in snap percentage. I don't know what to make of that just yet, but I do feel like the changing of the guard is here, and Calvin Ridley is going to take over as the number one wide receiver on this team. Ridley's getting the targets, he's getting the yardage, and he's getting the red zone work as well. This offseason, I talked about it a few times. I owned Calvin Ridley in Dynasty, and I was really tempering my expectation because the hype and the build-up for Ridley this offseason was so strong. I didn't want to jump the gun too early and just start proclaiming him as this top 12 wide receiver, as being a wide receiver one, knowing that Julio Jones is still on this team. But by the looks of it, it looks like Ridley is really asserting his dominance on this Atlanta Falcons offense, and for the second straight year, it does look like that we found the next Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin being last year, and then Ridley being this year. So the outlook for Calvin Ridley the rest of the season is basically like this. I'm not panicked about Julio Jones just yet. Just get out. You can't give up. You can't give up on Julio. In fact, I'm actually considering trying to acquire him in a few leagues right now, just because I think some Julio owners are a bit concerned, especially after this performance that was such a high-scoring game. I honestly just think Julio just didn't see the ball. It was just one of those things where game flow, whatever the case is, this wasn't a Julio game. You're going to get a lot of them, though. And if this is the one where he's just not involved and you're able to buy low on him, oh my God, go do it. Go do it 100 times. Because it's Julio fucking Jones, and we know what he does. He doesn't get in the end zone, but 140 yards and 7 catches, that's pretty much the basic stat line for him every single week, right? Now, talking about the Dallas Cowboys here, I don't need to say anything about Dak. I've been banging the drum for Dak Prescott all offseason long. Last year, like I said, when I was going through his numbers, my jaw dropped when I really dove into his numbers and what he did last season. I think it's a performance that really did go under the radar in the fantasy community. Zeke, consistent. Zeke is just a fantasy cheat code in the sense that you're guaranteed 18 points per game every single week, and I don't really know if I've ever seen anything like it. McCaffrey is obviously, super, super special, but just the way that Zeke plays, it's just so automatic in a way that is so abnormal, right? I mean, this is year over year over. We're in year 4 or 5 now of this, where Zeke just every single game is getting in the end zone once or twice and is going to rush for 100 yards. It is so good, so consistent, and just so comforting of a running back option to have. CeeDee Lamb, like I said, with Blake Jarwin being injured, CeeDee Lamb is the one that's going to step up here, and it happened. It's going to continue to happen. I'm really excited for Lamb moving forward this season. I don't think he's going to challenge Amari Cooper for the number one option, but like CeeDee Lamb is going to have some games this season where he absolutely explodes, and I can't wait to see which games those are, because it's probably going to be games where you never really know until after the fact, and that is going to be a bummer. But still, just seeing a guy of this young talent and just being thrown into this offense that is so high-powered, it's going to be an absolute joy to watch him blossom in Dallas. Amari Cooper, for the second straight game, has put up great numbers. That's something that we're not entirely used to seeing from Amari Cooper. Like I said, 100 yards receiving on 6 catches, so he played really well for you this week, and that's not really shocking given the matchup. Michael Gallup, disappointing game. What can you do? Like this, that's the thing. This between all these Dallas Cowboys wide receivers and just their weapons overall on offense, there are going to be weeks where you're going to miss with guys, but I think for the most part you're going to hit. And so with that being said, you have to keep starting Gallup as your flex if you can. You have to keep starting CeeDee Lamb as your flex if you can. Amari Cooper is probably your number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, so you're going to start him week in and week out as well. Dalton Schultz, just that other tight end, just you have to consider it. If you are looking at a tight end, maybe you have George Kittle and you don't know when he's going to be back with that knee sprain, Dalton Schultz can be a really great rest of season option for you. Again, I don't expect Kittle's injury to be a season-long thing, but if you just need that plug-and-play tight end, maybe on a bye week if you need one, Schultz can be a guy. But like that's the thing. It's so funny, right? This tight end position all of a sudden went from being so shallow to now it seems like every single week we are adding somebody else to this list. Just this year alone now, we've added Dalton Schultz. We are re-adding Chris Herndon, Noah Fant, Jonnu Smith, and Hayden Hurst. That's 5. So this all of a sudden we went from having 6 to 8 tight ends to all of a sudden we have 13 now, and it's so cool to see. I think it's going to be a lot more common now to actually roster 2 tight ends, and I think that roster size is going to expand because of this change. I think that's going to do it though for this game recap. This was a really exciting one. This was a game that we knew we were expecting to be a high-scoring affair, and it was absolutely electric all the way throughout. So thank you so much for watching this game recap. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like down below and hit that subscribe button so that you never miss a video from me. You can follow me on all social media platforms at FFVulture. And once again, just thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, people come and go, but fantasy championships are forever. I will see you in the next video.